Hare Krishna devotees. Next part of our program is Sunday Feast lecture, and we have wonderful speaker today, Her Grace Sarveshri Mataji. Mataji is very well known to our congregation. Doesn't need any introduction, but it's our pleasure to glorify devotees. She coordinates garland service, rangoli for festivals, and she does cooking and altar decoration. Mataji never say no to any service. With that, we will welcome Mataji by loudly chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Devotees, till that time we are fixing the mic. Can we come forward and we will form two columns here, extreme left of this carpet, so that Mataji will, rest of the place Matajis can sit. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your kind words, but I'm not qualified for that. It's on, Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna devotees, I offer my humble obeisances unto our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Romapada Swami, Satyasara Prabhuji and Jai Sugatra Mataji, and to all devotees. Thank you, Satyasara Prabhuji and Jai Sugatra Mataji, for giving me this opportunity. Please forgive me if I make any mistake. It's all because of my ignorance. And I'm really not qualified for this service. Just to purify myself, I'm doing this service. And thank you all devotees for joining us today. So I will start with the Jai Radha Mata. Jaya Radha Mata Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vallachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Thank you, Jish. Hare Krishna devotees. So today we are going to see from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 9. So I'm going to recite the verse now. Please repeat after me. Chapter 10, verse 9. Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. So anyone would like to recite the sloka? Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Very nice. Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Thank you, devotees. Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So, anyone likes to read the purport?
Pure devotees, whose characteristics are mentioned here, engage themselves fully in the transcendental, loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet
of Krishna, their thoughts are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotee are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in the love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service into the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. The spiritual sky also, that light grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavana, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of hearing and chanting goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Natya Lila, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in the love of God. He then cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. As stated in the Bhagavatam itself, 12.13.18, Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Namalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. As the realized souls in the Krishna consciousness take on continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a boy and a girl take pleasure in association.
Thank you, Samantha. So I will offer my prayer to my Guru. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjalasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dhatanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Saharajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabhanto Jagatpate Kopesha Gopika Kanta राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna devotees. So this is one of the important and very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 9. Actually, this verse talks about the nature or symptoms of the pure devotees. So how the pure devotees will behave. So first, let's see what this verse says line by line, and then we will discuss more in detail. So in the first line, it says, Machita Madgata Prana. So here Machita means his devotees, Krishna's devotees. Their mind is always engaged or observed in Krishna. Madgata Prana means his devotee always dedicate their life in Krishna's service. So Machita Madgata Prana, that means his devotee mind is always engaged or observed in thoughts of Krishna just to serve and please Krishna. So their mind and life are completely or fully dedicated to Krishna only. So in the second line, if you see, it says, Bodhayanta Paraspara. So it means enlightening each other. So they discuss among themselves. Generally, if you take pure devotees, they utilize their valuable time in chanting and discussing about various activities of the Supreme Lord among themselves. So there are so innumerable books like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or Purana. So that contains countless subjects for discussion among two or more devotees. And the third line says, Katayantascha Mam Nityam. So that means always conversing or talking about Krishna. Nityam means always. Katayantascha Mam means always talking about Krishna. So that means sharing each other whatever they know about Krishna. Like how we do in Gita Ashraya class, like we preach and discuss and we share, like it's interactive class. So we enlighten each other. So, and also we do it in Bhagavad Sangha and Acharya Upanishad also. What we do, we just take one topic and we discuss and share our thoughts and enlighten each other. So always talking about the Supreme Lord. Third line says. So you may have a question. What do I get when I do all these things? Like always engaging my mind or observing thoughts of Krishna, or discussing about Krishna, or enlightening each other, sharing or conversing. So if we do all these things, what will I get? So that is said in line 4. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So they get great satisfaction and bliss. By doing all this, they get great satisfaction and they become very happy. So this is the ultimate happiness. So how do we get happiness? By doing material things, which are temporary. It's not permanent. So which is permanent happiness? So permanent happiness is when we discuss or converse spiritually, when we glorify Krishna, his pastime, his name, his qualities, then that is permanent happiness because Krishna is permanent. So in this verse, it says Krishna becomes one's life and soul. And then the devotees constantly, they discuss about Krishna with one another. And also they become very joyful and very satisfied when they do these things. So internally, devotees are always observed in their mind And then externally, they dedicate their life in doing services to Krishna. So how do they do service? By engaging in various spiritual activities, such as chanting the holy name of the Lord, or participating in book distribution, or reading scriptures, or like making garlands for Krishna, or dressing deities, cleaning the temple, or attending satsang, like how we are doing it now, like spiritual gathering. They just gather and discuss and hearing. This is all to deepen their connection with the Lord. So these are the symptoms of the pure devotees. So let's discuss this verse more in detail. Like in the purport, it is given there are two stages of devotees. One is a preliminary stage, and the another one is mature stage. So preliminary stage is nothing but the practicing stage, what we are doing now. So we will see what is practicing stage and mature stage. So this verse mainly talks about the mature stage. So we are going to see how they are traversing or moving from the practicing stage to mature stage. So in the practicing stage, they release transcendental pleasure by doing the service itself. So you may have question like, how I am a practicing devotee, how do I get transcendental pleasure in the practicing stage? So we get the transcendental pleasure when you get peace. How do we get peace? So when I am free from my fear, attachment, and angry, then I get peace. So how do I free myself from all these things? Only by practicing bhakti, we can free from all these things, anger, fear, attachment. So gradually everything goes away, and then we can gradually experience peace. So this peace is transcendental peace, pleasure. So we don't get the highest transcendental pleasure in this practicing stage. So by only engaging our mind, our body, and our words in the service of the Lord, then we get the transcendental pleasure. So example is like Yashoda Mai was like in her mind always thinking about Krishna while churning the milk. And then her action also like she was doing it for Krishna, and her words also glorifying Krishna and singing songs for Krishna. So that is a transcendental pleasure. So when we gain some knowledge, then what we need to do, like we need to apply that knowledge. Practically, we need to apply. Then only we can experience the effect of it. For example, when we gain the knowledge about the power of chanting, that is chanting will purify our mind and heart. Then what we should do is, like we should practically apply that knowledge by chanting every day. So not only chanting, but also we should do other, we should engage ourselves in other devotional services as well. So then otherwise our mind will not be purified. So every day we have Japa conference, like in the morning at 5 a.m. And we should chant together or the congregational chanting. So we may think now why we need to do congregational chanting or group chanting, because that really helps us in the beginning stage of bhakti, because our mind wanders. So whenever it wanders, it is really helpful for us by hearing other devotees chanting. It is helping us to bring it back. So we can chant nicely. So until our mind and senses are purified, we cannot be observed in Krishna constantly. So to be observed in Krishna consciousness, we should purify our mind and our senses. So how do we purify our senses? Only by doing our sadhanas, we can purify our senses. So when our mind is not purified, what we do? We do devotional services and the material activities together. Like we mix both spiritual and material things, which is perfectly okay in this practicing stage because our mind is not completely purified. So it is okay to mix both at the practicing stage. For example, when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or chanting for 2 hours, after some times, we just wanted to take a break from that. So immediately after we finish our chanting, what we are doing? We are just looking at our phone only. Just we wanted to see our Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp. Other medias, we wanted to use it immediately. So why we are doing all these things? Because our mind is conditioned and not completely purified. So that's why we are doing that. We are doing both at the same time. But we need to purify our mind. How do we purify our mind? So initially, we are not even able to chant for 10 minutes. Like it's very difficult for us to chant. But by practicing every day, gradually it can increases to 1 or 2 hours. Practice is very important. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we have to move from practicing stage to mature stage. So for that, one must engage ourselves in the service of the Supreme Lord. So only the service that purifies our mind gradually. So Krishna also mentioned this very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 17. Krishna says, Yuktahara viharasya, yukta chetasya karmashu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yoga bhakti dukkhaha. Beautiful verse. So it says, he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So what this verse says is yukta ahara. Ahara means we all know that it is food. So your eating habit and vihara, your recreation habits, and yukta chetasya, your working habits, and yukta swapna, your sleeping habits. So everything should be balanced or regulated. So only by regulating these habits, we don't encounter any unnecessary material suffering. Otherwise, we encounter all sufferings. So what Krishna says here is, we need to regulate all these habits. How do we regulate all these habits? Yoga, yes. So whatever we are cooking, like we should offer that cooking to Krishna, and then we have to eat it as a prasada. And also we should not overeat. Like if we overeat, what happens? We voluntarily inviting all the diseases. We get blood pressure or cholesterol, and then diabetes, everything we are getting because of eating like more than what we need. Sleeping also we should regulate. How do we regulate our sleeping? We should go to bed early. And also, like before we go to bed, we should read all the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or any scriptures. Like we need to hear the pastime of Krishna. So that will help us during the chanting in the morning. And also, we should wake up early morning during the Brahma Muhurta time and we should chant. So, for example, if you are watching some horror movies and going to bed, so then in the morning we cannot chant properly. It is going to be very distraction to us and it's going to disturb us. Like we cannot focus on Krishna. Only horror things will come in our mind. So this is what the preliminary stage is. So we do some devotional services, but that is mixed with some material things. So by doing this, we derive some transcendental pleasure, but not the complete pleasure here. So since we have not yet developed the complete taste or love for God, so at this stage, what we should do is we need to regulate our habits and then do the services for Krishna. In other words, we can say in the preliminary stage, we are doing bhakti in a regulated way. So as we continue to do regulated way, under the guidance of our spiritual masters and under the guidance of scriptures, we can come to the mature stage. Only by their guidance, we can come to the mature stage. So now we will discuss about mature stage of bhakti practice, how the mature devotees do bhakti practices. So in this mature stage, the devotees are always like they are in the transcendental position. So always they are situated in love of God. So they reach the highest transcendental pleasure, because 24/7 they always think about Krishna. So they do not think anything else, anything outside. They always think about Krishna. They don't look for any material pleasure, like any sense gratification. But we, in the practical practicing stage, we are looking for pleasure from outside. So if, for example, if we read Srimad Bhagavatam, like for a few minutes, then we need to use the other media to take a break. But mature stage devotees, they are completely observed, like 24/7. They think about Krishna all the time. So in the mature stage, they constantly fix their mind on Krishna. So no other material thoughts. They don't have any material thoughts. Always thinking about Krishna. So Haridas Thakura was a great example for thinking about Krishna 24/7. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also given instruction in 6 Ashtakam, like chant the holy name of the Lord, like 24/7, 24 hours daily. Kirtaniya Sadahari. So we need to chant Krishna's name whenever we find time. Otherwise, Maya will get into us. So we need to always engage ourselves in the service of the Lord. So Haridas Thakura, he chanted 300,000 of names each day. Like that means 16 names in one mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it has 16 names in one mantra. So one round is 108 times. So when we multiply that, it comes to 1728 names in each round. So by like if we divide that 300,000 by 1728, then it comes to almost like 175 rounds each day. Haridas Thakura was chanting every day. 175 rounds he was chanting. And for us, it is even difficult to chant our minimum round. 16 round itself, it is very hard for us. Like we give so many excuses for that. We have job, we have kids, and we have to take care of everything. So that is why Haridas Thakura, his name is Namacharya. So we can't chant like Haridas Thakura. At least we should chant as much as possible in this practicing stage. So in the beginning stage, at least we should chant without skipping. So we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita also information that both Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakura, they both were constantly observed in thoughts of Krishna, always chanting the holy names, both of them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So they both were chanting all the time. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 14, Tatatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dridavritah namasyantasya mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Translation: always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So in this verse, Krishna is describing the symptoms of the mature stage devotees. So if someone is in the mature stage, what we call them? We call them Mahatma, right? So Mahatma is the one who is completely surrendered unto the Supreme Lord and or who has taken up the devotional services. So you may have a question like, how does Mahatma behave? So he is a great soul who is constantly glorifying the Supreme Lord. Like his name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, always he glorifies. So other than glorifying, he does not have any other business. Glorifying is his business. So in the previous verse, if you see 9.13, it talks about the internal mood of Mahatma. So when we do bhakti practices, we should also have the same mood like how Mahatma has. So what was their internal mood? Actually, their internal mood is they are free from all delusions. They are free from all delusions to practice bhakti. So what kind of delusions they are free from? So believing that Krishna does not have any form. So that is the biggest delusion. So we need to come out of those kind of delusions, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have form. Then how can we say that Krishna does not have form? So Krishna has form. He is Satchitananda Vigraha. So Krishna is eternal, full of knowledge, blissful, and he has a personal form. So we should not think that Krishna is an order provider. So what does it mean, order provider? The person who fulfill our desires. So once my desire is fulfilled, then I forget Krishna. So I used to do this kind of things in my childhood. Like before going to exam, I used to pray. My question paper should come very easy because I don't like physics and history. So I pray all these things. Once I get good mark or the question paper is easy, I just forget. I don't show my gratitude to Krishna or like any God. So forget to thank. So these kind of worship we should not have. So, but we do all this kind of worship in the practicing stage. So, but pure devotees, they always glorify to satisfy the Lord. They never ask anything for themselves, for their own sense gratification. They don't have any personal desires. Krishna's desire is their desires. So they believe that Krishna is the source of everything and Krishna is the cause of all causes. So that mood we should have when we practice bhakti. Mahatma are mature stage devotees, very clear. They are very clear that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and they do devotional services to please Krishna. So this is the only way we can come out of all the material bondage or material entanglement. So how we can please Krishna is only by doing devotional services. So Mahatma or mature stage devotees, they are always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. And also they dedicate their life in serving Krishna. They don't have any other thoughts. Only serving Krishna and they chant and they always observe in thoughts of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada also explained, like Mahatma is a great soul, person who has utilized their opportunities to get to know about Krishna. So we also got this rare human form of life. So we also should use this wonderful opportunity to go back to Krishna by using it in the service of Krishna. So now we are clear about the symptoms of mature stage devotees. So far we have discussed the preliminary or practicing stage devotees and the mature stage devotees. So in order to come to this mature stage, that is to become a pure devotee, one has to have the mercy of Guru. So without the mercy of Guru, we cannot progress or advance in bhakti process. How do we get Guru's mercy? Yes, Prabhuji. So Guru is the one who gives the seed of bhakti. That is Bhakti Lata Bij. So this is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 19th chapter, verse 151. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. So we all know that in this universe, millions and millions of innumerable living entity wandering. And out of them, very few are very fortunate enough to meet pure devotees. They are Bhagyavan. So they are fortunate to meet pure devotees. Not everyone is fortunate to meet pure devotees. Very few are fortunate. So Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. And if one desires something, Krishna is fulfilling all our desires. So in the living entity, by chance, if they come in contact with the pure devotees, and if they wishes, if they wanted to associate with the pure devotees, then Krishna, who is situated in our heart, he will give us a chance to meet the bona fide spiritual master. So this is called Guru Krishna Prasada. So such a fortunate person is always protected by Krishna and Guru all the time, spiritual master. So he is always helped from within by Krishna as a Chaitya Guru or like Paramatma. He is always guided, and from without by the spiritual master. Always he is guided by the spiritual master outside. So if we are very sincere, then Krishna and Guru always help us to become free from this material entanglement or material bondage. How one can become fortunate can be seen in the life of Narada Muni. So we all know that Narada Muni is a great mystic sage who has an eternal spiritual body, and he is also called celestial spaceman because he always travels everywhere throughout material and spiritual world. So playing on his musical instrument, that is Veena, and singing, always glorifying Krishna 24 hours. So in his previous life, he was born of a maid servant. So he was not born into a very prestigious family or like aristocratic family or Brahmanical family, but he was a son of maid servant. So his mother was very fortunate enough to serve pure Vaishnavas, like great sages. So when these Vaishnavas were resting during the 4 months of rainy season, Narada Muni also got an opportunity to serve these Vaishnavas when his mother was like not there. In the absence of his mother, he also, that time he was like 4 or 5 years old, and he also got an opportunity to serve Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas also, they showed compassion towards him. So Vaishnavas, they offered him the remnants of their food. And by serving these Vaishnavas and also following the orders of them, sincerely hearing the attractive activities of the Supreme Lord, when they were discussing among themselves, he was listening to all these things. So when he was listening all these things, his faith and devotion in the Supreme Personality of Godhead that gradually increased for him. So by seeing his submissive attitude, like Narada Muni's submissive attitude, like Vaishnavas also like imparted knowledge to him. They instructed the most confidential knowledge to him and departed from there. So within a short period, his mother also like passed away because she was bitten by a serpent, and then she passed away. And Narada Muni also left the house, and he was wandering through the forest, and he started meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So while meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, by seeing his determination, Krishna, like he revealed himself in his heart. Like he assured that like he will attain the supreme abode after this lifetime. So by the mercy of Vaishnava, he became very pure devotees with their mercy. So in the next life, Narada Muni, he was the most exalted devotee. He became like Acharya of all Vaishnavas. Very important Guru and Acharya of all Vaishnavas. Simply by hearing like attentively like all the authentic informations about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the bona fide spiritual master, all his sins were like cleansed off from Narada Muni heart. Everything cleansed off, and he was liberated from this mundane association. He became very pure by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So, by the mercy of Krishna and by the mercy of Krishna, one gets Guru. And by the mercy of Guru, one gets Krishna, so we can go back to Krishna. Without Guru's mercy, we cannot get the devotional services or we can go back to Krishna. So Guru and Krishna's mercy is very important. So Guru is the one who gives the bhakti seed. So with the seed from the Guru in our heart, if we practice bhakti faithfully, then we can go from the preliminary stage to the mature stage. So what kind of practice we are talking here? Yuktahara viharasya, regulated way. Because like chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and then doing all the devotional services like temple services under the guidance of spiritual master with full faith, eventually we can transcend from the preliminary stage to the mature stage. So then we can really develop the prema bhakti. So when we come to prema bhakti, we still do the same services. We still do reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Puranas, and we hear about the glories of Krishna, Krishna Kathas. So, but we do it with the greatest pleasure at the mature stage. So, when we are in the mature stage, we still do all our regular activities, but we do it with full Krishna consciousness. So right now, if you see, we don't have the pure consciousness because we are still in the preliminary stage. So for example, when we cook prasadam for Krishna, like we talk about all mundane things. Like we gossip and then we talk about our work, our vacation, and mostly we talk about others only. Like we enjoy that. Because whatever is satisfying our senses, we do that. But when we move to the mature stage, bhakti, mature stage, we still cook prasadam, but while cooking, we always talk about Krishna only. We always hear Krishna's glories and we always talk Krishna, we always discuss about Krishna. And our mind is fully fixed on Krishna only. So this is what it is said in verse 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Satatam means always, like eternal. Krishna, like they always, kirtayanto mam means they always glorify. Like always glorify Krishna's name, his form, his qualities, and his pastimes, they always glorify. In the mature stage or prema bhaktas, they are always in Krishna consciousness. But in the preliminary stage, if you take, devotees are sometimes in Krishna consciousness, but not all the time. We do both. But when prema bhaktas perform any activities, like for outsiders, it looks like they are doing some mundane activities. But those who are prema bhaktas, they always completely absorbed in thoughts of Krishna only. Like for example, Satyasara Prabhuji is like CEO of a company. It looks for others, it looks like he is doing some material activities, but his thought is always he is observed in thought of Krishna and doing service. Even if he get few minutes break, immediately he will put in WhatsApp like I like got the realization on this or that. So always they are observed in thoughts of Krishna. So, but for us, it looks like he is doing some material activities. So you may have a question that what prema bhaktas will discuss. So that is also mentioned in our purport. So they discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranam, etc. So this is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 13 and verse 18. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Parama Hamsyam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraha Bhakti Sahitam Naiskarmyam Aviskritam Takchrunvan Shupatan Vicharanaparo Bhaktya Vimuchan Naraha. Translation. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. It is most dear to Vaishnavas. Why? Because it describes the pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahamsas. So this Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all the material work, together with the processes of transcendental knowledge, renunciation, and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it, whoever properly hears and chants it with devotion, they become completely liberated. It is very beautiful verse. In the first line it says, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam. So that means it describes about the spotless or pure nature of the glorious Purana Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about the pure Srimad Bhagavatam, glories. Yet Vaishnavanam Priyam. So of all Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to all Vaishnavas. Yasmin Paramahamsyam Ekamalam. So that means the spotless or pure Srimad Bhagavatam is always appreciated by Paramahamsas. Paramahamsas means they are exalted devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam is always appreciated by them. Jnanam Param Giyate. So that means the Srimad Bhagavatam presents pure nectarian, spotless knowledge of the absolute truth. It talks about the Krishna only, this Srimad Bhagavatam. It directly presents the description of Krishna and also his divine incarnations. He had so many incarnations. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes about Krishna, his divine incarnations, and also about his devotees and the process of Bhakti Yoga. So Tatra Jnana Viraha Bhakti Sahitam Naiskarmyam Avishkritam. So that means Avishkritam means introducing. What Srimad Bhagavatam is introducing? It's introducing Bhakti. Jnana means knowledge. Viraha means detachment. So when one performs Bhakti, automatically one develops knowledge. So by getting knowledge, one detach from the material enjoyment. Naiskarmyam Avishkritam. Naiskarmyam Avishkritam means, so this spiritual activities does not result in any material reactions. So when we do any spiritual activities, we don't incur any karma. So takchrunman shupatan vicharana paro bhaktya vimuchan naraha. So that means takchrunman means hear and supatan means study. So we should hear and study this Srimad Bhagavatam, and also we should discuss and share our thoughts and ideas. So when we do all these things with devotion, one can be liberated from this material entanglement or material existence. So that is the potency of Srimad Bhagavata Purana. So in today's verse, Krishna says, Bodhayanta Parasparam. So pure devotees, they always discuss. What they always discuss? They discuss Katayantasya Mam Nityam. They always talk about me and my glories. Krishna says, devotees, his pure devotees, they always discuss about his glories only. They don't have any other thoughts. So why do they discuss Krishna and his devotees? Yes, Prabhuji. So as said in this Srimad Bhagavatam verse, Vaishnavanam Priyam. So it is not to prove that they have so much knowledge or they can speak fluently or eloquently. It's not because of that they are doing this. But for pure devotees, it's naturally they like to speak about Krishna. So if we like someone, then we naturally glorify them. We always discuss about them. We always talk about them. We always glorify them. So it's the natural expression of devotees. So it gives them joy when they do this, like when they talk about or when they discuss about Krishna, it gives naturally joy for them. So how does one come to bhakti and become this pure devotee? Let's see how they become pure when they come to the bhakti. And this is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. chapter 19, verse 152 to 154. This is explained in 8 stages by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is exactly the same like 9 stages of bhakti process, which is explained by Rupa Goswami. Here, Sadhu Sangha is not included because Chaitanya Charitamrita is for advanced devotees and association is there in every step. So he did not include that step mentioned here. So we will see the 8 stages of bhakti, which is explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya, he compares the devotional services to the sowing of the bhakti seed in the heart of the living entities. So getting the bhakti seed is very difficult and it is very rare. So that is also explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 19. It describes Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapatyate Vasudeva Sharvamiti Sa Mahatmasu Durlabha. Translation. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So in this verse it says, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So that means Jivatma accepts Krishna is everything. So when we are ready to take up Krishna consciousness, then Guru comes in our life. So Guru is the one who plants the bhakti seed. So this is the initial faith, that is Shraddha. So this initial faith comes only when we are pious person. Like first stage is showing interest in the spiritual life with some faith. That spiritual life is superior to the material life, like with the initial faith. Then comes the Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya is when the seed is sown in our heart, by watering the seed, by the process of chanting and hearing, the seed starts to sprout in our heart. So Bhajana Kriya means not only like chanting and hearing, but it also includes all the other devotional services as well. Like it includes like talking, glorifying about the Supreme Lord, also cooking prasadam, making garlands. So everything is Bhajana Kriya. All devotional services is Bhajana Kriya. So when we associate with the pure devotees, we gain some knowledge from them. So what is that knowledge we gain? So when we associate, we get the knowledge that we need to give up the material attachments. So then only we can start growing in bhakti. So that is the knowledge we gain. Like once you get the knowledge, then one develops the love of God. So the next stage comes Anartha Nivirti. Anartha Nivirti is when you keep on watering, the seed grows and fructifies. So bhakti starts to grow in our heart. So let's see what are the benefits when bhakti grows in our heart. So our capacity to do our devotional services increases when bhakti is growing, like our capacity to do our services increases, and also our chanting quality increases, and also our hearing and reading qualities also increases, and following the instruction of our guru also increases. So everything will increases because of our sadhana. Bhakti gets stronger and stronger because of our sadhana. So by executing devotional services, one becomes free from all material attachments. So at one point of time, when all the anarthas are gone, then we come to the stage like called Brahma Bhuta stage. Brahma Bhuta or Nishtha. So what is Brahma Bhuta stage or platform? That is said in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 54. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhudeshu mad bhaktim labate param. Translation: one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realize the supreme Brahman and become fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is quickly disposed towards every living entity. So in that stage, he attains pure devotional services unto me. So here it says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. So that means transcendentally situated. That means going beyond the three modes of material nature. So in this stage, we treat all living entities equally. When they are in the Brahma Bhuta stage, they treat all living entities equally. Like an elephant, a cow, or a dog eater, or a Brahmana, they treat everyone equally in the Brahma Bhuta stage. So they are different in bodies, but they are same. They are same in the sense everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Everyone is children of God. So in that way, they are same. So they see the spiritual equalities, but not the material difference. So, but we in the material, in the practicing stage, we always see the material difference, not the spiritual equality in the practicing stage. If someone is better than us, or like if they are advancing, or if they are rich or something, we cannot take it. So still we see the material difference. We don't see they are also spiritually equal, like a spiritual entity. So at this stage, one becomes joyful and peaceful. So they do the sadhana very joyfully without any lament or like expressing sorrow, because he is very pure soul and also not agitated by any material desires at this stage. So these desires go away because of our sadhanas. So when we do perfect chanting, like our qualities increases, our devotional services also increases, and our chanting also become very pure, and fully we get fixed our mind on Krishna. So when we are doing, so what we are doing now is like with some conditions, like in a regulated way, because we are not able to think of Krishna spontaneously. But in the Brahma Bhuta stage, we realize that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says in chapter 20, verse 108 to 109, Jivere Swarupa Haya Krishnare Nitya Dasa. So it is a living entity, constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna. So, and the next stage is Ruchi. So at this stage, we get attracted to the personal form. So we start developing the taste for his form. Like we get attracted by his beauty, and we wanted to serve, like we wanted to make garlands or cook prasadam or decorate the altar, everything. So we do everything at this stage without any conditions. So we wanted to hear more and more about Krishna, and we wanted to do more services. We start to develop a desire to reach Goloka Vrindavan, because we start to really relish the pastime of the Lord and how to develop genuine affection for Krishna. So what will happen when you keep on watering the plant? So it grows as a big tree, and the tree starts to give flowers and fruits. Similarly, when we keep on doing sadhana, our devotional services will get stronger, and we come to the stage of Ashakti. So at this stage, we have a very strong attachment to Krishna, meaning strong attachment to his pastimes and Nama Rupa Guna Leela. So because of this strong, intense desire to love and serve Krishna, we come to the stage, that is Bhava stage. So in this stage, one expresses their love for Krishna in different rasa. Like Santa rasa, like Jiva takes a form to give pleasure to Lord. Like they become flower, tree, rock, or grass. So during the Leelas or pastime, so the Krishna walks on them or like climb on the tree. So, and the next rasa is Dasya rasa. So serve the Lord with respect, like how Prahlad Maharaj, how Hanumanji, they all served. And then Sakya Rasa is devotees play with Krishna like a friend, or eat with Krishna and joke with Krishna. And then Vatsalya Rasa is parental mood. They serve as a mother or father. Madhurya Rasa is serve as a gopi. Does everything to satisfy for the pleasure of Krishna. So there is no boundary. So love is flooded without any boundary in Madhurya Rasa. So you become fully absorbed in the love of God. So the culmination of this highest bhakti is the eighth stage. At this stage is a prema bhakti. So you cannot live without Krishna even for a moment. So in this stage, devotees start to see Krishna in their heart, like Paramatma will be replaced. So at this stage, you feel like fish out of water. When you put the fish out of the water, so how does the fish feel? It will be throbbing, right? So we also feel the same. Like when we are separated from Krishna, we also feel the same. So that is prema bhakti. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explains how the seed of devotional service grow in our heart and how our heart develops the desire to go back to the Goloka Vrindavan. So these 8 stages are completely aligned with the 9 stages of bhakti process by Rupa Goswami. So here you are completely absorbed with the Lord. So this is the mature stage. So this is what today's verse is like talking about Machita Madghata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. So this is how Jiva develops bhakti from step 1 to step 8, which is prema. So I conclude my class here. Please forgive me if I misspoke anything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful class. Devotees who are in the temple room and who are in online, if you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand. Any questions, comments? Want to? So clear, Mataji.
Either way, clear or not clear.
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji, it was wonderful class actually, and both the verses, the one that was taken earlier in Bhagavatam and this one, I was just trying to relate, and it's actually it makes sense also how to actually progress in bhakti. So we are doing everything for sense pleasure and sense enjoyment using all our senses, and the best way to apply that would be just to use all our senses in the service of the Lord. That way actually we can just try to and that's also a checkpoint. Like every time we are doing something with our senses, we can just think whether it is used for this body's pleasure or is it the pleasure of the soul. So that way we can make some distinction. But wonderful class, Mataji. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mataji. With this class, my reflection is like I had a question like, what they do or the other, I used to get material desires. Then why I'm not getting the? I know that going back home, back to Godhead is our ultimate aim and objective of our sadhana. But why I'm not developing that desire? But you answer nicely that the 7 step or whatever 9, 8 steps. If we are keep on doing sincerely, we will maybe I will get that desire. Thank you for nicely explaining that. Thank you much. Okay. The final call. Anyone? Okay. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class, and we are looking forward for more classes. We are moving on to the next part of the program. Is Arati. Arati is going to sing Arati Kirtan today. Hare Krishna. Oh, so he's non. Oh, oh. లైట్ వెలిగించాల మనం ఇవాళ లేదు నేను తెస్తున్నాను
లైటర్ కదా ఇదేనా చూడండి
Prabhu, you do plan advance. You do plan advance. This. How are you, Prabhu? You did good. Nice to hear you. I can do. I can do.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta
Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namah
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya
Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatya Desatarini
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine
Sesha Sunyavadi Pachatya Desatarini
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivastadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कुंड गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी की, भक्ति देवी की, संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, बृहद मृदंग बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्रोग्राम की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Pralaya Ito Shilatangka nakalaye Ito nashmo parato nashmo Ito nashmo parato nashmo Yato yato yamitato nashmo Yato yato yamitato nashmo Mahe nashmo redaye nashmo Mahe nashmo redaye nashmo Narashimmamadem sharanam prapade Narashimmamadem sharanam prapade Avakara Kamala Vare Natam Abhuta Shringa Kalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare केशवदीता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरदेव माधव जय नरदेव माधव जय नरदेव माधव जय नरदेव
जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद
जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद जय भक्ता प्रहलाद
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद भक्ति विघ्न विनाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की प्रहलाद महाराज की Thank you, Dhriti. Wonderful Kirtan and Narasimha. Thank you, Jishnu, for supporting. Today's announcements, holy celebrations of Festival of Colors are going to be on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the temple. Please note that outside colors are not permitted, but you can purchase colors at the temple for a small donation, helping us in our fundraising efforts. Let us come together and celebrate this joyous occasion in a Vaishnava way. We are excited to announce the upcoming celebration of Gaur Purnima on March 24th, Sunday. Gaur Purnima holds immense significance as it marks the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have several programs starting this Monday. Starting from Monday, March 18, we will gather every evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to share and relish the enchanting pastimes. Each devotee gets 30 minutes slot. It will be an online program. If you have any question, please contact Veena Mataji. We request you to kindly participate in signing the Kirtans and Bhajans glorifying the divine pastimes of Gaurang Mahaprabhu from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sign-up sheets are published in WhatsApp. If you have any question, please contact Rasmai Mataji. A Siksha vow is a new intention, a vow performed in the heart and mind to improve chanting with determination. If you have never taken Siksha vow or if you want to better your Siksha vows from the previous year, please register at the link in WhatsApp for any